Okay, good morning, good afternoon, one and all. So it's a wonderful to see you all and grace the occasion with your esteemed presence. So I, Dr. Shalini Gautam, Associate Professor DME, would like to extend a formal warm welcome to all of you. This webinar talks about the IP University, Guru Gobind Singh IP University, the various options which it has, which it can give to the students, as it is an A-grade state university. Unlike in the past, where parents thought only medicine and engineering to be the good career options, today students have got lots of opportunities. They can become a successful lawyer, a media person, a budding manager, even the VJ and RJ options are there. So it is imperative for all the students to take an informed decision to secure one's future. Keeping this in mind, we at DME, we have associated with all the modern schools branches and tried to impart the learning, the knowledge about the admission process of the IP University. I would like to welcome all the eminent principals who are here personally. First and foremost, Dr. Neeraj Awasthi sir, who is the principal of Modern School Noida. He is a seasoned scholar, having more than 20 years of experience in the field of education. He has earned doctorate in the field of management and a post-graduation degree in education. He has initiated many of the educational projects and remained a city coordinator for CTT examination for more than 2 years. Welcome you, sir. I would also like to welcome Mrs. Neerja Padru ma'am, Principal Modern School Vaishali. She has worked in the field of education for over 3 decades with top public schools of India. She is a postgraduate in English literature and education management from Mumbai University. She has also been a recipient of Gaurav Shiromani Award. Dr. Nilima Jain, Principal Modern School Faridabad, is not able to join us because of some urgent matter coming up. This place, the VP of the school, Mr. CP Yadav, has joined in, who himself is an eminent academician. I would also like to welcome Dr. Ravi Kant Swami sir, Dean, DME Management School and Director, DME. Sir has over 24 years of experience in teaching and administration and holds a PhD degree from University of Rajasthan. Before Sir starts with the presentation about the IP University, I would like to ask the eminent group of academicians about their opinion. What do they think about the CBSE assessment criteria and how the future of the education system, specifically the examination system, is going to change going forward? So we would like to start with you, Dr. Neeraj Awasthi. You can share your opinion about the same, sir.
So as all of us know that this year, the CBSE has, be aware that this year the CBSE has changed the assessment pattern for the class 12 student. And recently we have received a new circular from the CBSE yesterday only, in which the CBSE is asking us to submit the marks of class 10th and 11th to the CBSE so that they can further arrange the marks as per the new guidelines. So basically, you see, the COVID has changed all the system. So what we were expecting earlier, we were expecting that at least the CBSE will conduct the class 12th examination. It was like that only. But looking into the this high rise of the COVID cases, the case went beyond the 4 lakh number. And after that, the education minister and all the dignitaries of the CBSE has finally decided that this year they are going to cancel the exam. And there was a new debate that how the student should be assessed in this situation. And after getting so many inputs from all the principals and the city coordinator, the CBSE has decided to assess the class 12 student on the basis of the 3 parameters, that is the result of class 10th, class 11th, and class 12th pre-board, half-yearly, or the PT exam. So all the schools, I think we are working on it, and definitely within another 10 or 15 days, we will submit our result to the CBSE so that the CBSE can work further on the result and they can declare by the 31st of July, as they have admitted they have the Supreme Court. But I feel that this new system has given us a new direction also, because a couple of days before also we were discussing the whether we should uh, uh, evaluate or assess our students, or there should be no examination system. So now a new kind of a discussion or debate has arisen due to this current situation, whether there should be an assessment or there should be a continuous kind of evaluation, and there should be no examination. But definitely, as we are discussing with the admission process of the IP University, and this IP University, I think most of the admissions they are based on the test-based admissions again. And again, Delhi University, the admission process is slightly different from the IP University. And in the current situation, what we are expecting that the universities will also change their pattern of admission. Also, the way they are taking the admission earlier will not be the same in the current situation. And definitely, they have to become with the innovative solution. Like last year, what has happened? We have witnessed that even the IIMs, like institute, they have conducted their online tests, and on the basis of that test, they have given the admission, the integrated MBAs and other things. So I think now it's high time for the academicians to find out the new way, instead of the checking the students or evaluating the students on the basis of class 12 performance, but instead of but they should think beyond the assessment, and they should think that there should be some innovative way for the admission process, so that every student can get the admission in the courses in which they are having interest. So new courses are also coming, and I was looking into the courses which you have shared with us, like you are having this integrated law courses there, and the integrated MBA you are also providing. You are also providing BArch and MArch. So you have a good courses, but definitely, I think the service sector is a booming sector these days. If the universities can come with the courses related to the service sector and the sectors which are coming, like the coding and other sectors. So artificial intelligence is also coming. CBSE has introduced the AI from class first onwards, but right now we are not looking any these kind of courses in the university and the colleges. So I think there is a need to reevaluate, to reassess the system, which will definitely help the students to generate their interest in the new fields also. This is all I think, and now it is again up to the academicians which are sitting there in the UEC level or the CSIR level, or the people who are developing the curriculum for the colleges and universities. So they should also think that what kind of intake they should have in the near future, so that there should be a space for each and every student, and every student can get the admission in the desired course. This is all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your opinion. I think you have made a few valid points, right from changing the curriculum to changing the examination pattern, adding more relevant courses. All are very pertinent things which needs to be done. Over to you, ma'am, Nija Padru, ma'am. Would you like to share your opinion on the same? Ma'am, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes.
A very good afternoon to one and all. First, I would like to thank you to give me an opportunity to share my view on this platform. And I very much agree with Dr. Neeraj Awasthi, what he said, that times have changed. And with changing times, we also need to change the assessment of our students. Now we don't want to assess them only on their writing skills for 1 year. Now we are going to assess them in continuation of 3 years, when they started giving their first board attempt of class 10, and then 11th, and then 12th. So I would very much appreciate with this the new tabulation policy CBSE has introduced, because earlier it was based only on the assessment of 1 year, and whereas now we see that how the child has evolved with 3 years time. will be recorded. And second thing, the components which make the evaluation process for this new assessment policy, I would appreciate that they have given a very balanced weightage to the performance of child in class 10 when he was supposed to understand and perform on all the 5 main subjects, and when he comes to class 11 and 12th and takes the stream of his own choice and start moving ahead to make his profession also following the same stream, I would say CBSE has been very justified in giving them 30 plus 40% weightage to class 12. It is not only 40% for class 12, it is also 20% more, which we have given them on their internal assessment, their project evaluation, and throughout the teacher has observed them evolving. So I would say that this new assessment is going to motivate students to also observe how they are moving forward on their path of learning, and would also encourage them to participate in motivational projects and observing things not only within 4 walls of the subject and the classroom, but also by being a global learner. So I would thank CBSE that they have given us a new assessment criteria, and I also hope that by taking this decision, the risk of COVID, for which we were right now was not fully prepared because we could not inoculate all the students who were under 18 to come and write these exams offline. It was a right decision taken on the right time. Now, the students are having lots of apprehensions about if they are not going to write the exam, then what will be the cutoff percentage for the admissions in the good colleges. So, I would also thank Dr. Shalini that she contacted me, and when she said that she wants to conduct a career counseling session, I really appreciated it, that it will really help our students to know what are the different ways now after passing their class 12 board. So now I would like to pass it on to Dr. Shalini, and I would also thank to Mr. Ravi, who is going to enlighten our students today to take the various career options. Because when the parents come to us and there is an argument going on that we feel that the aptitude is more towards, humanities or commerce without math, and they keep on insisting, no, 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 my child, I want him to take only PCB or PCM, nothing else. So it really drains our resources to convince them that no, engineering and medicine are not the only two options available. There are many other things also, like just now you have shared so many courses, integrated courses for law, management, and paramedics. So I would now request you to carry on with this excellent counseling session, which I would feel will be beneficial for all our students. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I hope that the parents are listening to this webinar, because today being Saturday, most of them are going to be at home. And that's what I've told in my introductory remarks also, that it is not only medicine and engineering, but a whole lot of other courses also which are available for these students right now. Now I would like to ask Mr. C.P. Yadav sir, if he is able to unmute himself and just share his opinion for 2 minutes, and then we can start our presentation.
Thank you very much for calling me.
Yes, sir.
I don't have much to say because two of my colleagues have said all wonderful things about the examination. I would like to know my students that they must understand when the time is difficult, you have to find the new ways of assessing things. So we know online classes are new for us, new for the students as well. How to compete this situation, the CBSE has given a wonderful exam. With this example, what we have seen, you have to perform each and every year constantly. You cannot excuse any year, whether it's a board year or not the board year, 10th, 11th, and 12th. It shows that we have to take an average marks of that. Maybe 30, 30, and 40, maybe some other proportion may be over there. But how to handle the difficulty is a very important thing, which we have learned from the CBSE. Okay, assessment is absolutely good. What they have taught, what they are doing, wonderful thing they are doing. We are taking average marks. What we are assessing, what they have learned over the year, what we have done, we have made them stress-free. They are writing their text from the home. They are writing from their own table. That is what have been included in new education policy as well. What it says, reduce the stress. And this is the way we have reduced the stress of the student. But we were in habit of writing exam in the schools. So that stress was there. I'll not say that stress, that was expectation was there. Expectations, boys and girls have with themselves. If we have written it in the schools, we might have done better. So that question is there. But that is not judgmental question as the result is. So I think CBSE is doing very wonderful thing by doing average marks. That is what I have to say. Thank you very much, Salini ma'am. You can continue with your session, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for your words of wisdom. Now, without much ado, I would like to hand over the forum to Dr. Swami, sir, to tell us about IP University in detail.
Thank you, Dr. Shalini, and I thank Neerja Padru ma'am and Neeraj Avasthi sir. दोनों ही नामों का मतलब एक ही है, कमल का फूल. And Chandrapal ji, I'll begin with my presentation, and yeah. Okay. Now, students, first of all, the purpose of this presentation is to provide you information. What information? This information will be about these 5 things. First, we'll be talking about this university. Of course, I have written 25 minutes because you are probably, you don't like long sessions. The youth doesn't like, they don't like long sessions. Even I think Netflix is now making series with shorter duration. So we'll not take more than 25 minutes. We'll be talking about what is IP University, what are the professional courses available there, then admission process, obviously, that's very important for you because it's a turning point in your life. Fee structure, yes, पैसे की बात करनी जरूरी है. Then the placement scope after each professional course. So to begin with, about IP University, I'll give an idea about this Delhi NCR region. There are 2 major government universities. Like there are many government universities, private universities in this region. But why I say 2 major is that University of Delhi and IP University, both these universities have got around 100 colleges, right? So University of Delhi also has got around, I believe, 92 colleges, and IP University has also got around 100 affiliated colleges. So these are the 2 major universities in the Delhi NCR region. Now, a student must be thinking, why 2 universities? Why not 1 university? So I must tell you, students, that both these universities are alternatives to each other. एक दूसरे के विकल्प हैं. Why alternative? In what sense? In the sense that University of Delhi handles academic courses and IP University runs professional courses. In a while, I'll be telling you in the next slide, how do we compare or how do we differentiate between a professional and an academic course. So again, to repeat, University of Delhi, it deals with academic courses while IPU deals with professional courses. Okay, so moving on about IPU, well established in 98, well, gradings are important. I must tell you that it's a university run by Delhi state government. From per capita income point of view, Delhi is the richest state in this country. Yes, in terms of per capita income. So IP University is run by the Delhi government. It has got a A grading by NAC. Now, NIRF rankings are important. Why they are important? Because there are around 900 universities in our country. When I say 900, these include 4 categories. What are those 4 categories? One, the central universities like JNU, Jamia, AMU, University of Delhi. These are central universities. Second are the state government run universities like MDU Rohtak, like IP University, like CCS universities. Second. Third is the private university. And fourth is the deemed university. So 4 categories of universities are there. And the number of these 4 categories of universities in our country is close to 900. And among those 900, what is the ranking of IP University? The general ranking is 95, which simply means it stands among the top 10 percentage. So top 10 is obviously a decent rank. NIRF also gives rankings in terms of professional courses. So when we talk about engineering, IPU has got even better ranking, 86. When we talk about business management, the ranking is even better, 57 among the top 5%. So this is about IPU. Then it has got around 80 courses about which we are going to talk about. The annual intake is 22,000. And yes, it's a large university. You can compare it with any international university. It has got 80,000 students. So that's the first point about IPU. Before we move ahead, I'm going to give you 2 minutes for comparing a professional course and an academic course. My dear students, the difference is very simple. Academic course gives you knowledge, knowledge, and knowledge. Okay. While a professional course gives you knowledge plus skills plus attitude. So what's the difference? How do we compare? Say, for example, you are doing MA in history or MA in psychology or MA in sociology. It's an academic course. While you are doing B.Tech or B Pharma or BBA or hotel management, it is a professional course. In one sentence, I can conclude by saying that a professional course trains you for a specific job, while an academic course leads to knowledge enhancement, right? And again, IPU is, when we talk about University of Delhi and IPU, both universities of Delhi government, one is partly Delhi government and part central government, University of Delhi. So the comparison is that University of Delhi is more about academic courses and IPU is mainly about professional courses. Okay. Well, what are the courses at IPU? The link is given here, students. This link is of the admission brochure. My colleagues will be providing you the link. Dr. Shalini, Vedpriya, you can place this link in the chat box. You can also email this link or WhatsApp this link to the students. Students, at this link, you get the 2021 information brochure of IP University. Okay. Now, as I said, there are a large number of courses. It's not possible given the time constraint that I can discuss all the courses. So I will be discussing the major courses or the popular courses. Yes, I will not be discussing things like maybe say courses in yoga or MLT or something like that. Now, while we are talking about the courses at IPU, let us divide them into various parts. First and more important part is those professional courses wherein students from all streams are welcome. Means what? These are stream neutral courses. Stream neutral professional courses means you may be having maths or bio or commerce or arts or even vocational studies in your 12th. Still, you are welcome. You are eligible to join all these courses. What are these stream neutral courses? BA LLB 5-year integrated, 2 degrees in 5 years. BBA LLB 5-year integrated, 2 professional degrees, BBA and LLB in 5 years. Bachelor of Arts, Journalism and Mass Comm, Media, okay? BBA, Bachelor of Business Administration, Bachelor of Hotel Management and Catering Technology, BHMCT, which is a 4-year course. These are stream neutral courses. Students from any stream can join these courses. There is no constraint as to which subject or which stream you must be having in your 12th class. The second category of courses run by IPU is, I'm going to talk about little detail subsequently. The second category is the courses for which you need to have physics, chemistry, maths at your 12th, PCM. Yes, these are the courses, primarily the engineering courses. So Bachelor of Technology or BTech is the primary course for which you need to have PCM, and Bachelor of Architecture, right? Moving on, for commerce students, you have Bachelor of Commerce honors course, which is again a professional course. For students having economics at 12th, you have Bachelor of Arts Economics. For bio students, IP University has got Bachelor of Pharmacy, Bachelor of Nursing. These are the primary courses, the popular courses in which large number of students take admission at IPU. Due to time constraint, I'm not taking other courses. Otherwise, IPU has got MBBS also, MD also, DM also, MBA also. So I am talking about undergraduate courses, and I have chosen those which are directly useful for you. That's about the courses available with IPU. Okay, moving on. The admission process. I think students, this is important for you, because if you want to go for any course, you need to formally register. What do you mean by register? You have to go to this link and fill the form. This link will be provided to you after this webinar through mail or WhatsApp or through principal, ma'am or sir, or like that. We'll be providing you this link, or you can just write on the Google registrations GGS IPU and you will get this. Okay. Now, for any course at IPU, you need to register on this link. Registration means what? Registration means you pay an amount of fee, which I believe is rupees 1200. You pay that amount of fee and you register for IPU. Now you can go for the entrance test, you can go for the counseling, so on and so forth, right? Of course, for counseling, separate registration is there. So this is registration for the entrance test. Now, one point you must note, students, if you want to go for engineering, along with clicking on this link and registering yourself, the entrance test which you need to appear at is JEE. IPU does not conduct any test for engineering. It accepts the scores of JEE. So that is good for you. Otherwise, you would have appeared in 2 tests, JEE and IPU's test. So from 2018, IPU took an initiative and they said that the university will not conduct separate entrance tests. They will go by the national level tests. So as far as engineering is concerned, you have to appear for JEE. It's good. This time JEE is being held 4 times. So you can apply now, you can appear for JEE. And simultaneously, parallel to that, you have to apply for CET. You have to apply on this link and register yourself also. So for engineering students, appear for JEE, get the score and register for IPU also. Okay. For law students, appear for CLAT, get a score and register for IPU also. For architecture students, appear for that NATA test, NATA, and register for CET also. But there are certain courses like BBA, hotel management, journalism, etc., for which there are no national level tests. So my dear students, for those tests, IPU is conducting its own exam, right? So for engineering, law, right, architecture, national level exam, scores are acceptable. केवल register करवाना है IPU पे. But then for these courses like BBA, hotel management, journalism, etc., IPU is conducting its own test because no national level test is available, right? So for BBA, etc., you have to register yourself and appear at the CET. CET is common entrance test, which is conducted by IPU. Okay, I'll be taking up questions because I'm sure there are questions. Now there is an important point here. This year is a different year. Yes, we are in the middle of a crisis. Phase 2 of COVID is over, and phase 3 is going to come. I pray to God it does not come. So in between phase 2 and 3, we are in a little difficult zone. Therefore, for 2021, IPU has made a special provision that you can visit and admit is the provision, that you visit the college, you can take the admission, right? We call it spot admission or instant admission. This is important for you because this is there only for this year, right? You can visit any nearby college and you can see the college, talk with the counselors there, and they can interview you and finalize your admission on the spot. Although you will be required to appear in these entrance exams. Okay, your admission can be finalized on the spot. This is what about the admission process. We'll move on to the next point. The fee structures, yes, IPU is a state government university. The fee structures are, I'll say, neither high nor low, right? They are in between. So more or less all the IPU courses have a fee structure of 80,000 to 110,000 per year, except plus minus 20%. Okay, we go by the Pareto's principle, plus minus 20%. So this is the fee range, 80,000 to 110,000 per year. And the important thing is that unlike any other college, IPU does not have, because it is governed by the Delhi government, and I can tell you Delhi government is very strict when it comes to education. So no hidden charges, no college can charge even a single rupee extra once this fee is given. It's not that any IPU college can tell you that, okay, give for placements or picnic or no, nothing doing. This is the fee, no hidden charges, no examination fee, nothing else. But if you have reappear, you have to pay for that, okay? Don't say that I told that no extra money. So forget about reappears. I'm sure you are not going to face any reappears. So this is about the fee structures. So these are medium ranged fee structures. We have reached the last point of the presentation, students, the scope of placements. I'll talk about all the courses. First about the law courses. Yes, as we say that during the past 5 decades, America produced lawyers and Japan produced engineers. Yes, which simply means that lawyers are needed everywhere, and the scope of law courses is quite good these days because of certain reasons. I'll tell you what are the reasons. What is happening is, since 1990, our country went through liberalization, privatization, and globalization. So not many changes took place, and whenever the things are evolving, whenever the things are changing in a major way, large number of lawyers are needed to handle that. And not only that, new areas of law come up. Say, for example, patent laws. Patent laws were not there before 1990, means they were there in a very, very small way. But now, after globalization, privatization, liberalization, patent laws has become a great area. Similarly, cyber laws. Cyber laws is again an upcoming area. Tax laws, energy laws, all these are the upcoming areas. Plus, there are the traditional areas like land compensation, like the service rates, and of course the criminal. Those areas are definitely there. And after, so these are the areas where a law graduate can can be placed or can find a placement opportunity. The students after law can work with a law firm. They can go for their own practice. They can go for government jobs. Well, every organization needs lawyers. Say, for example, banks need lawyers because NPAs are growing, right? Because we have Vijay Malayas and Mehul Choksis and all those people. So we need lawyers to run after them. You can also go for judiciary, right? You can, even if you start an NGO, law seems to be a good background. That's about the placement scope of law. Coming to business administration, yes, we live in a world which is, not to sound pessimistic, we live in a world which is mismanaged, okay? And therefore we need managers everywhere. Students, your principals are doing what? They are managing your school. They are managing so well that they organize the session. I'm so happy that they came on their own, and it means they are managing it well. So managers are needed everywhere, and more so in a developing nation like India, we need managers, right? So Bachelor of Business Administration is a degree which will make you manager. A manager has got traditional areas of work and upcoming areas. Traditional areas are what? Marketing, finance, HR. What are the upcoming areas? Retail, aviation, pharma, so on and so forth. These are the upcoming areas. So this is the scope of BBA, the scope of a manager. Coming to hotel management, well, I do agree that hotel management is facing the music because of COVID. I was traveling to Hyderabad and I found that Taj Deccan was offering a room at 25% of the rates. So that was a pleasant surprise to me. So hotel management, hotel and catering is an area, tourism is an area which is in difficult time because of COVID. But I can tell you students, those who will take admission in 2021 will be completing in 2025. By that time, it will be a very good area with ample job opportunities. That's about hotel management. Hotel management has got various fields like front office, then housekeeping, then food and beverage. These are the areas in which students of hotel management can find their careers. Coming to BTech, well, BTech is something, you know, in my own life, I have seen so many changes in BTech, in the sense that some branches of BTech, you know, were doing very well at one point in time. Subsequently, we found that those branches have gone away and new branches have come up. Well, I must say that in today's era, computer science, IT, electronics, these are the areas which have ample scope as far as BTech is concerned. Yes, areas like civil, areas like electrical, mechanical, like mining, these areas, I have seen a lot of downfall in these areas because of changing technologies. As far as BTech is concerned, I can say the scope of computer science engineering, IT engineering, electronics is immense, and particularly more in the post-COVID area. Because mind it, my dear students, in the post-COVID era, all of us are going to go which way? The digital way. So therefore, when the world will go digital, who's going to do that digital drive? The computer science engineers. I can tell you, even in 2021, even the average students have got good jobs in computer science because of the upsurge of digitization. Yes, we were not using Paytm 3 years before. We were, very few people were using net banking, Ola, Uber, like all these things are what? All these are innovations coming out of digitization. So who's handling this digitization? It is the computer science engineers. So yes, students, I must say that BTech in computer science, electronics, IT has got very good scope in the coming 40 years, mind it. Okay, coming to architecture, yes, civil and architecture is an area which is again having a downfall in the post demonetization era. But then in an overpopulated country like India, the demand for housing, the demand for civil works, you know, it can face a temporary downfall, but eventually it's needed. Yes, our transport minister Gadkari ji has has done marvels when it comes to architecture. This KGP, KMP, what we call the peripheral highway, is a marvel. Probably the highest speed permitted in India is on this highway. The speed permitted is 120. I see people driving at 150 anyway. So civil and architecture are facing a downfall these days. But I am sure that in a country like India with 140 crore odd population, the demand for civil works, for infrastructure, for housing can never die. So it's going to be on the rise after this temporary downfall. So that's the scope of B.Arch or an architect. Coming to commerce, economics, yes, these are the courses which land you in a business kind of setup. For biology students, pharmacy, yes. Medicine is an area somehow, it's going to see a rise in the post-COVID era. All of us have become more health conscious. I pray to God that we remain health conscious. It should not be a temporary phenomena. Then nursing also is an area wherein I must say that world over, Indian nurses have a very good demand and a very good reputation. That's all about the placement scope of the various professional courses run by IPU. The natural question coming in your mind is what? What is best for me? And no one can answer that. You know why? Because you take any field, you take engineering, you take BBA, you take hotel management, you take architecture, you take law. We call it normal probability distribution, which means that in any given field, 25% of people do very well. 25% of people, their performance is below average. And 50%, they perform good, they enjoy their lives, right? So this is my answer to your question, which course is best for me? You can choose any course, but if you do well, the world is waiting for you. And what do you mean by doing well? Well, this is the last slide which answers everything. We say there is no formula, no mantra for success. But I can tell you there is a mantra for success. Neeraj sir will agree with me. Neerja Ma'am will also agree with me. Students, if you have the right set of knowledge, the correct set of skills, and the corporate ready attitude, success is waiting for you. Means what? I'll just explain this point in the last 2 minutes of my lecture. Knowledge means I should have I should not have superficial knowledge. I should have complete knowledge of my field. Whether I am a lawyer, say if I'm a land compensation lawyer, then I should have knowledge about the land compensation laws. Similarly, if I am into say BTech, then I should have reasonable knowledge about the algorithms. If I'm a computer science engineer, skills means what? Communication skills, application skills, practical skills. Say for example, means I am BTech computer science. I have a degree, but I don't know how to make sections in a computer, in a hardware. I have knowledge. I have a degree, but I don't have skills, right? Similarly, when we talk about law, I may have a law degree with 70%, but when it comes to mooting, when it comes to standing in front of a judge, I fumble. So I don't have the skills. And attitude is what? In one line, I can define attitude. Attitude simply says, work is worship. No excuse, work is worship. Work comes first. With that, I end my session. Thank you so much for attending.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for such an exhaustive and wonderful presentation. Looking at the kind of questions which I have already got in my chat box, I think all this, many of the students are interested in in getting the admissions in IP University. So I will take questions one by one, sir. So the first question which I have got is that which is the best institute for journalism in IP University?
Students, when we talk about journalism, it's a very catchy question because I can't be judgmental as far as which college is good, which is bad. I can tell you the parameters on which you can judge a college, right? What are the parameters? Like we talked about knowledge, skills, and attitude now. So knowledge is the first parameter, whether the college can impart knowledge to you or not. Everyone claims that they can provide knowledge, but go and talk with their teachers. You see the website, are the teachers qualified or not? Are there, good teachers or not? See the qualification of the teachers. If the teachers are good, they can impart you knowledge, otherwise not. So go for, visit the college, meet the teachers, see their qualifications. The second part is skills. When it comes to journalism, my dear students, go and visit the studio of the college. If the because the studio is the main thing which is going to impart you skills. Say there are colleges with small studios, there are colleges with great studios. Join a college which has a great studio. As simple as that. As far as journalism is concerned, I can conclude in one sentence: join a college which has got the best studio. Without visiting the studio, do not take admission in any college as far as media courses are concerned.
Thank you, sir. The another question, the same kind of question, which is the best university for BBA and when the CET exam is going to happen?
Okay, so best university for BBA, friends, if you are asking me to rank the universities, I must tell you, I don't have any faith in rankings because I have seen the other side of rankings. So I am not going to rank any college. The best way is that if BBA is concerned, you look at the placements. Okay, because management courses, you see where are the students placed. You go and ask them which companies conducted campus drives in 2020. And if they say, okay, everyone will say Infosys came to my company, Amazon came to my company. You ask them, can you show a few appointment letters? And then you will find that if I have an appointment letter, I'll say, okay, please see this. If I don't have, I'll say, oh, yahan rakha hai, wahan rakha hai. So these are the parameters. Okay. As far as management courses are concerned, yes, placements, of course, for any course, ask for the placements. Go and tell them, if the placements are good, show me the letters. You give me the numbers of the students who are placed in these companies. These are the parameters. Visit the library of the colleges. So this is how, like, you are located close to the colleges. It's not that you have to come from Lucknow and visit Delhi and see the colleges. And I can tell you, I have seen people coming all the way from Patna, from Lucknow, from Moradabad. They come to Delhi with their parents. They visit all the colleges and then they decide. So this is what I suggest. Visit the college.
Question.
Yeah,
Okay,
visit
sorry.
the college, meet the teachers, see the library, see the studio, and ask for the placements. Yes.
Sir, another question which is related with BBA only, that is commerce with maths mandatory for BBA?
I said BBA is a stream neutral course. In my list, if you see law, hotel management, media, management, these are all students stream neutral course. There is no prerequisite for these courses. These courses welcome students from any and all the streams. So maths is not needed. I must tell that this is a general query because students who have a repulsion for maths, there is a misconception that in BBA we have a lot of maths. I can clarify that, students. For BBA, you do not need maths in 12th. But yes, in the BBA course, there are subjects like business mathematics. There are subjects like business statistics. So, but these are not exactly maths. That is the application part. When we talk about management, management is all about application. Yes. So maths is not required, but maths, one or two papers like business maths or business stats shall be there in the BBA course.
Sir, another question related with the eligibility criteria only. Can I do BCom honors and Eco honors in IPU if I don't have maths in class 12th?
You can do. IPU that way has got a liberal setup. You can do if you don't have maths, yes. You can go for Eco honors and BCom honors in IPU if you do not have maths in 12th.
Sir, another question is, if we don't have good marks in JEE mains, can we get admission in BTech with IPU CET?
What do you mean by good marks? Because in competitive exams, it's not percentage, my dear students, it is percentile. And I'm sure you know the difference between percentage and percentile. Percentage is absolute, percentile is relative. So even if you may not have good marks, your percentile may be good, and you can definitely get admission in an IPU college. And as I said, instant admissions have already started. So you visit and take admission.
Sir, another question which you have covered in your presentation also, but again a student is asking, for BBA LLB, is it necessary to give CLAT exam?
Yes, for any law course in IPU, appearing for CLAT is mandatory.
Yes, so another is till when registrations are open?
Well, for CLAT, we need to check. The student can visit the college. We need to check. For IPU registrations, the last date presently is 15th of July. Ample time is there. Today is 26th June only. So you can register as soon as possible.
Sir, lots of queries regarding the CET dates. I think IPU University has not declared.
CET date.
Yes. When is the CET exam going to happen?
So if the last date of CET, the last date for filling the form is 15th July, you can expect CET to happen somewhere around first or second week of August, something like that.
Another question is, can we get admission without giving entrance in the spot admission in BBA?
No, the answer is no. But yes, if you visit a college, they will give you admission, and then they'll guide you how to appear for CET, and then they'll look after all that.
Yes, sir. Another question is that
and students should not be afraid of CET. Yeah? Don't be afraid of CET.
Right, sir. So another question is, do IPU University have any MBBS college, and do I need to give NEET for that?
Yes, IPU has got MBBS college, and for that, obviously, NEET is required. For medical NEET, for engineering JEE, for law CLAT, for all these exams, they have shifted to the national level tests.
Okay, another is that, few of the students, in fact, have started applying in the IPU University. So he's saying that they are asking for the 12th class results when I go for registration. So what should I do?
As I said, instant admissions are on. Don't worry about the results. We are sure you are going to get good results with the formulas which the principals were discussing. I wish I had this formula in 1990 when I was in 12th. So with the formulas, students, all of you are going to get good marks. So what I suggest is you visit the college and they'll tell you the entire details. Because the students in this webinar, they are living close to the colleges of IPU. Means right, left of their homes, they'll be finding IPU colleges.
Sir, in fact, I got this one query that I live in Ghaziabad. Do I need to travel all the way to Dwarka to get admission in IPU University, because that's where their head office is?
No. IPU, as I said, has got around 100 affiliated colleges. You visit any affiliated college and that college is part of university only. So why to go to Dwarka?
Another question is, do we have the good placements in across, and what are the companies that are going to come in to give the placements? Can I be assured of the placements?
Which course?
BBA, sir.
BBA?
Yes.
As I said, marketing, finance, HR are areas in which large number of jobs have come up in the post-liberalization, globalization, privatization era. Students, I can tell you, our country is going through transformation with three key words, as we call them, LP and G: liberalization, privatization, globalization. The transformation is that government jobs are shrinking. We are going for lesser government, and the private sector jobs are increasing, right? With LPG. Another phenomena which is going on is outsourcing, like all the entire IT sector. 8% of India's GDP is coming from the IT sector. And my dear friends, this entire IT task is outsourced. We get tasks from USA, from Europe, we get tasks from various countries. So with LPG, this outsourcing business is something in which our country is a great gainer. So therefore, after BBA, a lot of jobs are there in terms of marketing, finance, HR. Say for instance, Amazon. Amazon has expanded so much in India during the past 5 years that every time they keep on calling colleges that we need students, we need BBAs, we need media students. So that is the scenario of placements. But yes, as I said, you need to have the right set of knowledge, skills, and attitude. Without that, you can't have a career. And if you have that, success is waiting for you. Yes.
Right. Sir, there are many questions related with the IP registration queries. So
Okay.
what I'm doing, I am just putting the number of our admission counselor in the chat box. Students, the queries which are related with that you're not able to upload the photograph and they are asking for the 12th class results and you don't know how to go ahead with the registrations. So all the queries related with specifically with the registrations on IP University.
Okay.
You can talk directly to our admission counselor on this number, which I've just shared with the chat box, 704-266-7516. You can share all your queries and, the person would be able to address all the queries. So I think we can take another 1 or 2 questions and then we can conclude
Okay.
the session. So this student is asking which course is better, Bachelor of Arts or BJMC?
What I talked about at IPU, the course is Bachelor of Arts in Journalism and Mass Communication. So it has got both the things, Bachelor of Arts in Journalism and Mass Comm, BA JMC. BA per se is not available in IPU. As I said, academic courses are available with the University of Delhi. And professional courses with IPU, yes.
Okay, again, I got another this thing that I fill up the paramedical course and CET number 124. So all the queries related with the CET exam and all, please talk to our admission counselor so that you would get one-to-one answers to all your queries. I think we can take the last question and then we can conclude it. Again, the same question, related kind of question where the student is asking which has better scope, BCom or BBA?
I can be judgmental here. I'll say BBA. And I'll tell you the reason for that. Students, the reason is that when we talk about any management course, what primarily is management? I'll briefly answer that. Management means, say there are certain pure courses like say psychology, like English, like mathematics, like economics. When we talk about a management course, these courses become, say English will become business communication, economics will become managerial economics, accounting will become management accounting. So the beauty of any management course is that it talks about application. It prepares your skills in terms of application. It makes you, corporate ready. It's a training for becoming a manager. And as I said, managers are always needed. So I will be judgmental here. Yes, BBA is a better course.
Right. I think with this we can conclude the session. We have got lots of queries regarding the seat, regarding the IP University registration, for which I would suggest all of you to please give a call one-to-one so that the admission counselor could look into your problems and can address your queries. In any case, you can always get in touch with us through your principals and all. So we would be, more than happy to answer all the queries. So with this, I would like to end the session. I would like to thank all the eminent dignitaries. Dr. Awasthi sir, thank you so much. You were actually instrumental in linking me with all the other schools. So special thanks to you because you have given the references for the Vaishali branch and the Faridabad branch. Thank you, Yadav sir. I think you were able to join us in a very, very short notice because Dr. Nilima got stuck in some urgent work. I would also like to thank Dr. Neeja ma'am. She just had left and sent me the message because of some urgent work. I would like to thank Swami sir. Your presentations are always very, very nice to hear, and always, the way you interact with the students and all. I think they got the answers for most of their queries. Thank you so much for sparing your time, sir. I would also like to thank my outreach team, Rinsi ma'am, Vedapriya ma'am, for putting the show across. So thank you all of you. Thank you all the students who were present in the webinar and asked such pertinent questions. Thank you all for being there, for listening to us patiently. So thank you one and all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Gautam. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.